everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today, we have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination because you know, I love that combination. It's so good, the bergamot, that little bit of zing of the peppermint. It's just good. It's good in the morning. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea or possibly maybe a cup of coffee or something harder, as I always say. Depends on what part of the planet you're on, right? So today, we're going to be talking about DSLR versus mirrorless and how I believe, and I think we're going to find some evidence that proves that there's a lot of professionals still using DSLRs over mirrorless. Mirrorless has been a huge thing, and it's been just growing year over year, right? But it's still not grown fully, let's just say. There's still a lot of professionals using them, and some of the photo contests out there, major photo contests, show exactly that. So we're going to look at some of that. I want to look at some pictures also because that's fun, right? Looking at some images. The images that we look at today are going to be from a photo contest. It is from the 2021 photo contest from the World Press. So some of the stuff is Getty. It's World Press everything. And there's different categories, all right? We'll take a look at some of these photographs. But before I get into it, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded my ebook as of yet, go check it out. 10 tips at making tack-sharp images. There's something there for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a professional, a pro-am, or just simply an amateur. You're going to learn something. And it's free, guys. You can't beat that. It's 100% free. Go download it. It is at JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. Also, if you haven't cleaned your sensors as of late, and you have a mirrorless, especially, but even a DSLR, if you haven't, why the hell not? Why do you want to work at all of this post-production after the fact, cleaning up all of those skies that have dots all over them? Go and clean your sensors. I created this sensor cleaning kit that is awesome. You don't have to guess on how much liquid to use, how much cleaner, none of this stuff. It comes with a wet and a dry swab. You go over it with the wet first, then you go over it with the dry, and you're done. Right? No fuss, no muss. You don't have to guess at it. It's Aurora Camera Care. You can pick them up over on my website, JCristina.com, or you can pick them up at B&H Photo and Video or at Amazon. Either way, go clean your sensor, guys. Anyways, this weekend I was working on that book that you guys know that I've been writing for all of you, having to do with making a digital Fort Knox for all of your work. Doesn't matter if it's documents or if it's photos or videos. I teach you how to create an unraid server from soup to nuts, beginning to end, and talk to you about it and why I use all the parts that I do. So the book is coming out awesome. I'm getting close to finalizing it. I probably have about a week and a half left on it, but I'm going to keep working on it. So stay tuned for that. Getting right into this photo contest, I think I'm going to share my screen here with you so you can see this. Now, we can go over to the actual contest page, which is worldpressphoto.org. I'm going to put that URL somewhere below, maybe in the description or in the pinned comment or whatnot. But I want to go over to Petapixel instead, because what they did is they grabbed the top pictures already, so I don't have to show you everything. It'll take forever. Anyway, starting out at the top, we can see here, this is the, once again, World Press Photo of the Year. This is obviously, it has to do with COVID. The guy who shot this is out of Denmark. It's Mads Nielsen, I believe. It's showing an 85-year-old woman basically embracing this nurse, saying thank you is what I'm going to guess. Anyways, I think this is a very powerful picture. Now, if we scroll down here, we can see the first one that comes up. Now, this is the World Press Photo long-term project category. And as you can see here, there is a suit, jacket, and there's no one in it. There's shoes at the bottom. It's hanging by a string. And this is from Palestine. Now, if you read this, you see that the guy that normally would be wearing this, he was incarcerated in 1978. Basically, he was an anti-Israel commando, and he was released in 2011. But what's really odd here, literally 3 years later, this guy gets sentenced once again to life in prison. Now, I don't know about you guys. If I'm in prison for 40 years, I get out, I'm going to be basket weaving. I'm going to be sitting around. I'm not even going to drive a car. All right. I'm not going back to prison. Now life. Really bad. Really bad. Anyways, next picture. I love this. Now, this is a really, really nice picture. Now, the previous picture was made by Anthony Facilongo. Now, Facilongo, I don't know if you know it, but in Latin, I believe it means Antonio or Anthony, the long face or something. Anyways, he's making all of these images. Here's one right here. This is, once again, Palestine. This woman, her husband is in prison for 25 years. She ended up getting pregnant through IVF, and he was fined $1,500 for smuggling his semen out of prison. You know, this type of stuff. This is, once again, a Getty reportage type of photograph by Antonio. Another one, Palestinian imprisonment. They're walking to go and see their loved ones. Another one. These are all by Antonio, and they show them as people that are incarcerated, and this is what he was doing for the Getty images. I love this one. This is obviously his son, 7th birthday. That's really a cute image. Sentenced to 25 years. Once again, Antonio Facilongo out of Italy. And now we get into another category. This is contemporary. There was a bunch of contemporary photographs that I looked through, and I chose this as number 1, and they chose it as number 1 too. It says Fatima and her son prepares a fishing net on a boat, and this is in Yemen. This is 2020 by Pablo Tasco out of Argentina. Now, I love this. I just, look at this. The whole back side of this, the whole back end is all grayed out because of the storm. It's muted colors, but beautiful colors up front. I just look at this. The leading lines coming in here from the side. This is a beautiful, beautiful picture. Period. End of story. Fantastic. Anyways, moving on into the environmental category. And we have this sea lion. This is out of California by Ralph Pace. I'm tired of this mask thing. I'm just sick and tired. This does nothing for me, but I mean, I get it. Not my favorite. Next one is nature. Now, when I first saw this, I felt sad. I'm like, what are they doing? They captured this giraffe, but that's not the case. They actually rescued this giraffe, and they built and transported through this makeshift barge over this flooded lake to bring the giraffe to the other side. That's really cute. I like that a lot. Under portraits, of course, we have to have a transgender portrait because that is hot right now. This is out of St. Petersburg, Russia, transgender. Fantastic. Moving forward, we have sports. I love this. This is out of Germany. Really cool. Adam Pretty is the photographer. Very, very interesting. He's climbing these logs. This is craziness. Really neat. This one is Spot News. I looked at a whole bunch of images from Spot News. This is not my favorite, but it's pretty good. I do like what it looks like. I mean, it looks tense. And it says here, a man and woman disagree on the removal of the Emancipation Memorial in Lincoln Park. That's Washington, D.C. That was when the riots and whatnot were going on. She has the defund the police attire here on. Now, this is Photolari. This site highlights what cameras and what are used to create major photographs. So what they do is each year they take the World Press Photo Contest and they take a look at all the images that are winners, and then they distill it down to what cameras were used, what imaging systems, what sensors, what brands. And I think this is fascinating because it shows what true professionals are using from year to year. So what I did is I brought up last year's and I brought up this year's. As you can see here, we have system and system. Obviously, this is in Spanish on the right-hand side, but it's the exact same thing. Back in 2020, we can see DSLR, mirrorless, and other, and we can see DSLRs are sitting at 64%, and mirrorless is at 23%. Now, on this year, we see that DSLRs are down to 50%, all right? 64% to 50%. We have the mirrorless sitting now at 36%, so it is coming up. And we have drones and we have mobile that weren't in there before. They had it all categorized as other before. Now they break it down a little bit. What's really interesting here is, yes, while mirrorless is coming up, it's going from 23% to 36%. And DSLRs are going down that 13% from 64 down to 50. 50%, half is still where it's at. Half of those professional photographers are using DSLRs and not mirrorless. Now, if we look at this, something also interesting happens here is when you come to sensors. Now, last year we saw full frame being 73.8% of the photos taken, whereas now we're seeing 78. So we're getting about a 4 or 5% bump in full frame. Full frame is coming up. Now look what happens to APS-C. We have APS-C at 16.7 before. Now APS-C is sitting at 4.3, and it divides that into medium format. Now look at this. Medium format last year was 4.7. This year was 4.3. I would have thought, seeing that Fujifilm is doing as well as they're doing, I would have thought that medium format would have been higher this year. But it's really not. It's a little bit lower. And then, of course, we have other in here that takes up the rest. Now, we move into brands. A lot of people will want to know, well, what brands were number one in these professional shots, let's say. What cameras were used? And we're going to get to cameras in just a second. But right now, we're looking at brands. Now, we can see that Canon is 38% as of last year. This year, they're down to 32%, 32.6. Nikon went from 26% of the market down to 21%. Nikon and Canon are going down, let's say 4 or 5%, whereas Fujifilm, take a look at them. They were at 16.7%. Now they're at 6.5%. That's a major reduction. That's in half. We're not talking about a few points. They were at 16.7. Now they're at 6. Literally a halving, less than half is where they're at right now. Once again, I don't understand that. Fujifilm, I would have thought medium format would have came up because of Fujifilm. Also, Fujifilm doing so well as of late. We understand, or we think. Here we see that they're not using those cameras for creating these photo contest type of imagery. Very odd to me. Now, we see Sony used to be at 7.1%, and we can see a major bump. Sony doubled, almost doubled, to 13%. So we see Sony is at a rise between last year and this year. That's really nice. DJI, of course, 4.8. Now it's 4.3. There's less drones. Now, what I find really big here is last year we saw 2.4%. All right? Leica. This year, 10.8%. I think that's a bigger percentage increase than Sony, which it is. It's like what, 400% or something. Crazy. That is amazing. From 2% to almost 11%. That is big. What has gone on with Leica? Have we been just overlooking them? Or why is it that people are using Leica and making these phenomenal shots? What is it about Leica? What has been going on with Leica? It's something to think about. Something definitely to think about. All right, so let's move on to the cameras. This is where a lot of people want to know what is going on. What camera is the number one camera used to win these contests? And the number one camera last year was the Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. The number one camera this year is the Canon EOS Mark III. So it went from a Mark IV to a Mark III as the number one winner, and then the Mark IV dropped down into second position. But look what happened to Nikon. Nikon was in the second position with the Nikon D5. Now look at this year. Where the hell did it go, guys? Where did it go? It just completely plummeted down here to, I don't know, what is this, like maybe 20th spot, 15th spot? Then we see in the third position last year was the Canon EOS Mark III, which moved to the first position this year. But in the third position, we have DJI Mavic 2 Pro, obviously some drone work. And then below that, we see the Nikon D850. The Nikon D850, I think, is one of the best cameras, best DSLRs ever made. I've always said that. I think they did an amazing job. Whereas in the 4th place last year was Fujifilm, the X Pro 2. 5th place was the Fujifilm X100T. Fujifilm fell off the map once again this year. Look at them. They're like gone. They're like down here. You have like a Fujifilm XT1 down here halfway. You do see the Fujifilm GFX 50R that I was talking about when it comes to medium format. And they come in about, let's say, 10th position here. That is really good. Now, the reason I think that's good, because if we look at last year, we don't see any medium format until you get to the very bottom. You have a Hasselblad 500 cm. But for the digital Fujifilm 50R, which I do think that GFX 50R is probably the best Fujifilm medium format that they've ever made, but that's just my opinion. It is only 50 megapixels, where they do have the GFX 100 and 100S, which are 100, but this 50R is amazing. It comes back to, like I've always told you guys, the camera does not make the photographer. The photographer makes the camera. And if you can see an iPhone 6S, which is like 4, 5, 6 years old, all right, come up with a amazing contest-winning image, or a contest-placing image, a runner-up, let's say, that is amazing. Once again, it's about the story that you tell with your camera. It's not about the camera. It is not about your lens. It's the story. And is it powerful or is it not powerful? That's really where it's at. Let me just finalize with some of these images. Once again, I'm going to scroll through some of these. And as you can see that there's the nominees that are in here also. Look at this shot. Now, this is the number one, and this is the one that I would have picked. But look at this shot. This is a sad, sad picture. Sad. But how powerful is that? How powerful? I mean, you're not going to get more powerful than that. That is an amazing, amazing picture. And as you scroll through this, you can see there's a lot of imagery like that. A lot of imagery. Once again, pictures tell stories. And it's your job as a photographer, as a videographer, to capture those. All right? And some people have it, some people don't. Some can do it, some people can't. But anyways, I hope you found this interesting. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about all this information? In the comment area, put your thoughts. And then when we're done talking over here below this video, go over to my creative Discord server that I created for all of us. Go to community.JCristina.com. Once again, community.JCristina.com. You can find a ton of really, really brilliant people over there. And there's no trolls. We just have these conversations. So when we're done talking down here, head over there. Once again, community.JCristina.com. Also, if you like this content even a little bit, please give it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful. And if you want more of it, or maybe you want to go take a look at the other 500 videos I've come up with in the last year or so, please subscribe to the channel and click this little bell icon right here. If you click that bell icon, when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That would be awesome. And for getting to the end of this video, use promo code YT20. Once again, YT20, you'll get 20% off everything in your shopping cart. Not one thing, everything. So that's it, guys. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.